you've hit it on the head, Nancy, in terms of what he is doing. His response is very political. He's trying to be populist. He's really ignoring the economic effects and the repercussions of past decisions and existing decisions. The fact that they are flailing around a little, as you mentioned, he's blaming everybody else except his own himself and the government, of course. But it's not really a surprise. I have to say I'm a bit concerned at the heavy-handedness still, which there are continuing to be arrests of some opposition players. But I have to say I'm a little concerned at also the heavy-handedness, which you've not mentioned yet, of what's been happening with gas around Cyprus, and the fact that there has been some sort of physical intervention to try to stop some of the supply ships and others getting to some of the waters around Cyprus. So I'm concerned of what that mean in terms of he may try to create an incident. I'm not saying that would happen, but I think that the possibility in these geopolitical times of trying to do something to move attention away to create a crisis may be there. And I have to say I'm a bit concerned by that, as much as I am about the market. So right now the attention's on the markets. The lack of making the right responses to the economic stresses is a concern, and the fact that investors are losing more, if they had any hope at all, but they're definitely continuing to be concerned about Turkey and moving elsewhere.
Yeah, Angus, when you talk about investors moving elsewhere, it does seem to me that, sure, these countries such as Turkey and Argentina have their own idiosyncratic issues they're dealing with, but there's also the market forces and the Fed hanging over all of this with the stronger dollar in the backdrop. I mean, how concerned are people you speak with in the region about dollar strength, about companies and countries really who face U.S. dollar-denominated debts?
Well, the issue there, you mentioned obviously the debt issues, and some governments, including in Egypt's quite relaxed about it, really quite relaxed. And I have to say the economic equation in Egypt has improved, albeit there's been weakness in the debt markets in the last few months. On a regional perspective, Nancy, the key issue is that many of the currencies across the GCC particularly are pegged against the dollar. And if we saw before in the economic crisis in 2008 and after, and at different other times, that's actually produced some stress, where a lot of people who've been remitting money have also been under pressure, and it does affect the budgets of the region too. So I'd watch what that means about the across the GCC. Historically, they were planning on a GCC, as Hadley will know, a GCC central bank. That's now out the window, frankly. But all of the currencies pegged against the dollar. I think we have to look at both the bigger issues and the smaller issues here. It is a problem, it is a concern. The central banks at the moment, though, across the region that I think we can see, are not overly concerned yet. They have other stresses that are more immediate. The budget deficits, the issues with Iran, the oil price, I think are more worrying to them in the short to medium term.
And Angus, I have to ask you, when we're talking about countries that are pegged to the U.S. dollar, Lebanon, devaluation, a big headache for the economy there, and certainly wonders about this government forming. I mean, what happens next?
Yeah, it's quite interesting in Lebanon. When I was there a few weeks ago, I have to say I'd never seen the banking system that's quite as depressed as it's been ever. And I have to say that with all the stresses, economically, remittances have been relatively strong. And the summer has been really good, but the political equation with Hariri trying to form a government, and it's very difficult. It's undermining the overall economy, which has already been very difficult. And I don't see any growth in Lebanon this year at all.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.